Google TV looks more like a dud every day, and the Nexus Q didn't even make it out of the factory. But the Chromecast, now there's a chance for Google to get into the living room. Maybe the third time's a charm, maybe this is just another failed project. But I'm Andrew with mobileburn.com, and we're about to find out. From the moment you open the Chromecast box, it becomes very apparent that this is going to be an easy to install device. Now, most internet TV setups require a set-top box or an expensive TV upgrade. That's not the case here. You've got a very small dongle that's about the size of a micro SD to USB adapter. When you see them side by side, you can see it's a little bit taller, a little bit thicker, but it's small, compact, and goes directly behind your screen. It plugs into an HDMI port and it draws power from the USB port. Now, just in case your TV isn't set up where it's easy to access that, it also has a wall adapter to get power directly from your energy source, as well as an HDMI extender in case you need to stretch and reach further back into your TV. There's also an instruction manual, but you won't need that. You're smart. And then once you have the Chromecast plugged in, it'll light up to let you know that it's drawing power, and on screen it'll give you an address to visit in a compatible browser. Once you do that, you just go through the easy steps of installing an extension, and within 5 minutes you'll have everything connected and ready to go and ready to control your TV using your phone. And that easy setup is actually what draws me to the Chromecast. I don't have to deal with any clunky UIs, I don't have to deal with any big controllers or remotes. I just tap my phone, a UI that I'm already familiar with, and see the little Chromecast icon in the top right corner. That lets me know that this app supports beaming links to the Chromecast. Now remember, you're not actually streaming from your phone or tablet. You're merely using your mobile device as a go-between to initiate the contact of Play Parks and Recs. And once the episode starts playing, you can pause or stop it. You can use a seeker to jump forward or backwards easily throughout the episode. So it's a great way to manage your Netflix queue. And while the episode is playing, you can still navigate through the app and see what's coming up next, or you can maybe switch to another video, or you can even just exit the app completely. But if you need to get back to it, draw down in the notification window and you've still got controls there. And the same principle applies in the iOS version. Once you launch that, you see the Chromecast icon in the top right corner, select your Chromecast, and then boom, it starts playing. Easy setup, headache free, you don't have to do any additional work. Unfortunately, iOS users are limited to Netflix and YouTube. Those are the only two apps that work with Chromecast on iOS. But if you've got an Android device, you can use Google Play Movies or Google Play Music. iPhone and iPad users are stuck with the two video options. But on the bright side, when you're using the iOS app for YouTube, you can actually add videos to the queue. And if you have people over who also have a compatible device with Chromecast, they can add videos to the queue from their device. So you can have your own little YouTube party. Now, obviously, I doubt people have YouTube parties, but it's an option available to you. And while the video is playing, you can actually be searching for something else in the meantime, so you can keep things going without disturbing the view for others. You can also keep the music going if that's what you're into. With Google Play Music, you can stream millions of songs, you can have your own library, you can create your own playlists, create radio stations, so this might be a good way to have music on in the background. I'm sure you're familiar with Play Music. Now, you can control audio from your handheld like you can with some of the other Chromecast apps that I mentioned, but there's a maximum level that gets reached, and once that happens, you have to raise the volume with your television remote, and then you can sing along and embarrass yourself on the internet with terrible singing. Like this. You're my moving on to movies, you can actually use Google Play Movies to buy or rent films. And the great thing about this is while you're watching a film, you can read up information about it, or you can even preview the next film that you're going to watch. As long as you don't have that Chromecast button enabled in the app, you can play media locally on your device. Unfortunately, you can't mirror what's on your mobile device because that's not a feature that's supported yet. However, if you have Mac OS 10.7 or later, Windows 7 or later, or a Chromebook Pixel, if you install Chrome browser and Google Cast plugin, you can put the web on your TV in a big way by mirroring whatever tab that you have open at the moment. It's important to limit the amount of tabs you have because you have to have a very smooth performance on the computer and a fast connection to get this thing to work well. And even if you do that, there are going to be some cases where there's some latency and some lag, especially in video. I'm watching Hulu at the moment. Yes, it is supported for now, but they could take it away at a moment's notice. But a problem with the video is that you notice on the TV, it's always trailing the computer by a second or two. That's not a problem in itself, but you'll notice that the video isn't as fluid as time passes on. For like 2 or 3 seconds randomly, you'll see some stuttering or you'll see the audio get out of sync. For instance, take a look at this clip from the Colbert Show. At a certain point, he starts talking and it seems like a kung fu flick because his words don't match up.
He's not a Londoner. He was a fake town crier. I mean, I should have known. His hat featured a coat of arms with a lion and a unicorn.
The audio and video eventually get back in line with each other, but clearly there's work to be done when it comes to mirroring on Google Chromecast. And honestly, Chromecast overall could use some polish. I give Google full credit for being smart enough to turn to the apps and devices that we use on a daily basis. So we didn't need to waste space or money by getting new TVs or new set-top boxes. Google found a way to bring our mobile apps and the internet to the TV for only $35, and that is insane. I give them absolute credit for that, but at the same time, we need improvement. First of all, there needs to be more iOS support. You can't just rely on those 2 apps. Second, we need more app support overall. On Android, I'd love to see more developers embrace that, and that's going to be whether or not Google screws this up. We've seen that Google TV was a disappointment. Nexus Q never even got out the gate. But if Google can show that there's a demand for this and that they can make the right outreach to the right developers, that can greatly improve the use of Chromecast. And obviously, we need to get mirroring on mobile devices. That's going to be a big step. But at the same time, even right now, for $35, this is a very easy gamble to make. I'm surprised they were able to get it this low, and it does deliver on its basic promise very well. This is Andrew with mobileburn.com reviewing the Google Chromecast. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, feel free to click like and subscribe and check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching.